Really? Really? I know. I think she has more personality than some people I know. Um,
Hello and welcome to episode 102 of the Lazy Couch podcast. We're here to give you all you need to know about consumer tech, the future, and all of your content creator needs. My name is Geoff Kim, and don't everybody thank me at once.
my name is Kelvin Lee, and my MacBook is getting really hot for some reason.
Ooh, did you say hot or hard?
Oh, hot. I said hot.
Good.
Listen to the playback. I'm pretty sure I said hot.
Yes, I'm sure you said that. I got a bit of feedback of the music coming through, so maybe I missed it. On that note, how's it going?
Good. I'm looking forward to this episode.
Yeah, it's a bit of a catch-up episode because there hasn't been a big event. Well, there probably has been, but not that we've taken too much notice of anyway. How's your week been anyway?
No, week's been good. I think a lot of people, listen to the episodes that we make, and a lot of the clips that we put together actually get thrown out in the production floor. So I'm looking forward to, digging it all back up, talking about some stories that we wanted to cover over the last 2 or 3 episodes since we tried this new format.
That's right, yeah. So I've got a couple of clips that I've been saving for a while. So yeah, looking forward to putting those on. I've for the audience, I've been a little bit how would you put it? I've been in the wars somewhat. Had a bit of a foot injury and a back injury, but I'm feeling a bit humid again this weekend.
Hey, just in time to sit back, put your feet up, and watch the football, right?
Oh yeah. Well, last night's game was amazing.
Yeah.
We don't want to talk about football too much, just because our listeners don't really want to care about sports. But that was an amazing game last night. Poor Messi. I don't know. I think that's it for him.
Yeah, no, I think that's it. I mean, he retired and came back, right? So I think this is the time he'll retire forever for Argentina, at least.
That's right. So where should we start today? I think that probably the biggest news that we haven't really covered over the last, say, 2 or 3 weeks is the GitHub acquisition. Shall we start with that? Yeah.
Yeah, we should.
I've got one clip. It's a bit of an intro towards what actually GitHub is and a little bit of a history. Should we start with that? Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I've got a good follow-up to that. So yeah, hit it.
A Git is actually a version control mechanism or a team coordination mechanism that was developed by Linus Torvalds. So you have this tracking mechanism need, you need to control versions, you need to get software developers tools so they can work together. Well, GitHub says, what if we made something in the cloud where they could store their code, keep track of versions, keep track of each other, talk to each other? In other words, it's a sandbox where developers around the world can come together and work and make magic that you and I love.
Right, so that was a guy called Tom Ellsworth. He calls himself the BizDoc, and he's got this amazing YouTube channel where he just breaks down, companies and startups, and he has this blackboard behind him, and he charts out the history. It's quite amazing. So I'll link that video in the show notes. But very, very educational because I didn't realize the history of GitHub.
No, I didn't realize that either. I like it how he refers to code as magic.
Well, yeah, sometimes it is, right? Anyway, so it was founded in 2008 by 2 guys, Tom Preston Warner and Chris Wanstruth. They're no longer part of the company due to various reasons, but they got some early success. Andreessen Horowitz put in $100 million for a 13% stake in 2010, and then it was just upwards and onwards after that.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't think we come across GitHub much in our day-to-day jobs. I mean, it only really matters to you if you deal with a lot of open source software that allows anyone to sort of put in issues that the developers can track. It's got forums, it's got documentation. It's loved by all the developers I know. So yeah, I think it was a big announcement that Microsoft bought this for $7.5 billion US. So it caused a lot of controversy, I guess, because Microsoft isn't exactly an open source provider or developer really, even though they do actually use GitHub a lot. So
they're known to be the the biggest users of GitHub, of the tool itself. And because everything's in the cloud and everything's open source, yeah, that sort of is different to the spirit of Microsoft, or the old Microsoft, the Ballmer era of Microsoft, I
Yeah.
guess you can say. Now you've got Satya Nadella, and he's very different sort of leader.
Yeah, that's a really good segue. So I have a clip of an interview with Satya from CNBC. Just, why are you buying GitHub? So let's see what he has to say.
Being built by developers. In fact, there's a piece of data from LinkedIn which says that non-tech hiring of software development is growing steadily at double digit, 25% greater than software engineer growth in tech. So that speaks to the world that's going to be there going forward.
So yeah, I mean that's crazy. Which company doesn't need developers and coders these days? So I think Microsoft and it's really interesting that he mentioned LinkedIn, right? I mean they basically own the professional social network and they know all about which companies are hiring who. So there's a lot of data behind that. So based off the data they were getting from LinkedIn, they made the call to say, hey, we've got to invest more in developers because that's going to be the future of, computer sciences. It's going to be the future of the technology industry. So might as well get a head start.
Right. So the theory is that whatever they paid for LinkedIn, they're already getting the return on investment by just from the data set.
Yeah, it's really interesting because now they also have data on their competitors, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's Google also submitting code repositories, code to GitHub. So Microsoft is number one at about 1,300 employees pushing code. Google is next with 900 employees. Amazon has 135. There's also Apple, Facebook, and IBM. So there's a lot of data in there in terms of what these people are up to.
Hang on, how does GDPR actually think about this? Because that seems like fairly private information.
I don't know. I think because it's open source, I think you're committing to publicly available information anyway. And you're not really tracking customer information. So I think GitHub is safe from a GDPR perspective. But
but I think combined with LinkedIn, so you're saying like they're using LinkedIn data to track different employees of other companies, but
I'm hoping it's unidentifiable. You know what I mean? Like they know, 17 companies in the Silicon Valley are hiring 45 developers, things like that. Maybe they won't use the identifiable bits like who and when and how. So that'll be interesting. I've also got a follow-up clip from the same interview about what does Microsoft want to do with GitHub. So let's see what Satya has to say.
Open platform for any language, any framework, any platform, whether it's the cloud or on the client, and really serve the developers with a SaaS service that everyone requires, just like we do for knowledge workers with Office 365 or business applications with Dynamics.
So yeah, I mean that they want to use GitHub to really open it up and support all the other Microsoft platforms and give developers like a super platform to work on. I think that's interesting.
I like the use of the SaaS services.
SaaS.
Yeah, very sassy.
Yeah, Satya has a way of pronouncing words. I think he almost overpronounces a little bit to make a point.
I don't know if there's any other way of saying SaaS though.
SaaS. Really
software as a service. Yeah.
Focus on the S.
Yeah. It's more double S than double A.
Yeah. So I think it's really interesting. There's a lot of people on YouTube who hate it. When we do research for this show, I try to look at YouTube and see what people are saying. There are a lot of people who are worried about the whole open source community type feel to GitHub. And Microsoft has challenges. I mean, there are competitors to GitHub. People can move, so they have to be quite careful in terms of how they manage this community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've never really understood the how it monetizes GitHub. I don't know if there's ads or anything like that, but is it just because I imagine it's a free service, or it could be a subscription premium service, I guess, or there's enterprise license is probably the real option here. Very interesting. 7.5 billion. They've already got LinkedIn. They've totally cornered the enterprise market here, I think, Microsoft.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, just to talk about revenue, right? So GitHub has a user base of 28 million developers spread across, 1.8 billion different businesses and organizations, both large and small. It made in 2018 200 million in subscription revenues and 110 million from its GitHub Enterprise
Okay.
plan. So yeah, that's 300 million a year. You spend 7.5 billion, you get entire network. Seems like a good buy.
Yeah, so this thing that Linus Torvalds started back in the 80s has, it's become this massive Microsoft thing. I mean, like, he started it as a defiant act against Microsoft in the first place. So,
Yeah.
it's quite ironic, I guess. But yeah, here we are. Here we are. The next big news, I believe, if you don't have anything else,
Yeah,
Kelvin, is Instagram. I'm going to go towards Instagram.
Yep.
So I believe it was last week. Kevin Systrom, the CEO and founder, he held an event in San Francisco. Like, this was, Instagram wouldn't normally hold a press conference like the way Facebook or Apple does it, but they did it. It was only for about half an hour, but he came onto the stage. He talked about how, for the first time in history of Instagram, all 10 years of it, that they now have 1 billion active users, which I think in a week, which is kind of incredible. And he talked about some of the problems with video that they've been having. And this is how he introduced a new product and how he's going to solve those problems.
But how? How can we make this better for our community of 1 billion? Whatever we do, it has to be mobile first. This is on your phone, so it should be built with your phone in mind. Next, it has to be simple. We have a saying at Instagram, which is to do one thing and one thing really well. Finally, quality. In a world of overwhelming choice, you want the best videos, not just all videos. So we followed these 3 principles, and we built something brand new. Do you guys want to know what it is?
Woo.
We call it IGTV.
Yeah.
TV.
IGTV. Do the kids know what TV is?
You know what?
Or will
Why
they?
why IGTV? Let's just imagine you and I are sitting in a room. We work for Instagram. We're throwing a couple of things around. I would have gone with Insta TV.
Ah, so you don't like the IG part?
I don't.
Because I like the IG part. I don't like the TV part.
Yeah, like what else could you replace TV with? What do the kids call videos these days?
The gram, the box, the IG box, the tube.
Maybe instead of gram, like if an image is a gram, maybe a video is a kilogram.
Hey.
I
mean,
I'm here all night, people.
Are you team IG or team Insta? You're team Insta, right?
Ooh, I kind of like Insta.
Insta. Yeah, I think the the cooler, the more hip part of Instagram, I think they call it IG. Anyway, I have no idea. So the name is a bit odd, I got to say, but as a product, I have been using it. Have you been trying it out at all?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. What do you think?
It's I kind of like how it's trying to make portrait video cool. I'm the guy that rages at everyone who takes a video and doesn't put it in landscape. But I feel like people just do it now, and I don't think even YouTube's found a way to crop the player to suit. So I like it.
Yeah, I think I'm coming along as well. Like I was exactly like you. Wasn't a fan of recording in portrait or vertical mode, but it's just easier. And most of the time, if you're capturing video on your phone, you're probably going to be watching it on your phone, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's live or not. Now, this product is purely for the teen market. Not purely, but I think it's most of these new products that are coming out through Instagram and other companies. Snap is another one. I think it's the teen market because they're going to grow in the next 10 years, right? They're going to be the mass consumers of these products. Now, some stats that Kevin threw up here: teens are watching 40% less TV, like actual terrestrial television, than 5 years ago, which is huge. But in the last year, they're watching 60% more video that's on Instagram, which is, almost exclusively on their phones, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Now, there's it's part of the keynote. The product manager came out to speak. Her name is Ashley Yuki. She's one of these like 20-somethings that have somehow managed to climb the corporate ladder and managed to make some crazy things. But here she is.
The first thing you'll notice when you first enter IGTV is that everything is made for how you naturally hold your phone. Videos play full screen, and there's no wasted space. And they aren't restricted to the same 1-minute limit that you're used to on Instagram.
That's right. So everything is mobile first. Everything, Instagram, going back to its original mission, everything, I think it was one of the first apps that was purely built for the phone. There was no website version of it initially. Now you can go to Instagram.com and like look for your stuff and log in and so forth. But like this is where all the development's happening. I don't know how GitHub might fall into app development. Maybe someone can tell us, but I guess it's somewhat of a related story here in that case.
Yeah, it is, because I don't know. What would you say? Like, what percentage of the internet is still designing for desktops, right? And how many teens now have actually never used a desktop? So it's the future. So
yeah,
I've been watching a lot of sports people on IGTV, as well as MKBHD.
Yeah.
What's the limit for each video? Because I haven't been able to put my finger on it.
It's 1 hour. It's 1 hour.
Really?
Yeah. So this is something they teased actually about a month ago. And everyone thought it was going to be within Instagram, and like people didn't think that, a 60-minute video could work on a feed, but this is, I guess this is the other way they've gone. So the app is actually a separate app, but also you can actually just bring it up from Instagram itself without the need to install another app. So this is also another new thing as well, I think. When Foursquare famously split its two products into like a check-in app versus discovery kind of thing, more like Yelp. They literally split that out, right? The two functions, but in this case, they actually kept the new function on the original app, but they also introduced a new app. So this is interesting as well.
Yeah, the funny IGTV icon is now at the top right of the Instagram app.
Yeah.
No, I think it's in to separate the apps just in case it doesn't work. Then it's easier to, pull the kill switch.
What I found useful is because, we have, our personal Instagram accounts, but also the Lazy Couch one. So I use the app version to look at the Lazy Couch feed. But for the my personal one, and I follow, different sort of people, like sports people as well, through my personal Instagram app, if that makes sense. Yeah. And the other thing you should talk about is like, the TV-ness, right? Like when you open the IGTV app or the function, you get that static feature, don't you? Yeah.
I want to know why they're staying so true to TV.
Yeah. Even the icon, even the logo has antennas. Antennas are on top of the box. Yeah. It's like, who's going to know that in 100 years, 50 years, or...
But it's funny. I think it's a good. I think it's a good design mantra to follow. I guess it's easy to follow. I don't know, or the head of design is really old or something. I don't know. I think it'll work. I think it's owned by Facebook. Facebook Videos has been improving so much. There's even ads on it now. It doesn't buffer as much as it did when it first started out, and now they've got IGTV. So YouTube better watch out.
Yeah. On that though, do you think there's a chance that could happen?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I think the ads on YouTube are becoming, if you're not on YouTube Premium, is really annoying to a lot of people. So I don't know how IGTV is going to monetize differently. It'll be interesting, but I think the traditional sense of adding ads to a video is not going to work for long.
IGTV Premium ad free.
I think
something I noticed by Netflix on IGTV. So they made, they're kind of clever in this way, and I've noticed things like this in the past. So they start their video as a Netflix as a channel. So it's not necessarily an ad, but it's for Netflix channel. So I'm going to play it, and I'll just talk over it because that's probably a better way to do it. So they're just saying, Instagram just put out 1 hour videos, and Netflix is like, yes.
Go.
If that's the case, then we're just going to do this. So do you know what that's from?
No.
That's from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Right.
And it's just like Adam Sandberg just going, cool, and this is on repeat for 60 minutes.
Far out. That's funny.
Yeah. So it's not an ad, right? But it's kind of cool.
It's kind of. I'm going to regret saying this. It's kind of viral.
Yeah, but I love that.
Yeah. Cool. No, that's that. I think IGTV is going to make a hit. I think more people will jump on it. I think if you are, it also depends on what they do for creators, right? Like, the big YouTube stars, what kind of data we get. I don't know. I think we should jump on it as well. We just need to find an angle, to put on IGTV. But it'll be interesting.
I've seen other podcasts that, that sort of do the background stuff. Like this guy, there's this podcast that produces a lot of content on Instagram. I can't remember the name, but he was just literally driving, and it just had the video up, and he's just like saying, oh yeah, there's this new thing, IGTV, gonna try it out, blah blah blah. I don't know, maybe some background information like inside baseball stuff, maybe.
Yeah, no. How about we go and talk about the new Google Podcast app?
Ooh, yes, good segue.
All right, so for all our Android friends out there, Google has finally released an app, or is it? I've got a good little clip here from Jason Howell at Twit, just talking about the new app and what it's like.
Podcast app isn't really an app in the traditional sense. It's more of a shortcut that launches the podcast functionality that is already on your device. It's actually hidden inside the Google Search app if you are up to date. But you wouldn't know it once you launch it. Things look pretty similar in design to Google's modern assistant stylings. A whole lot of white space with pockets of actionable information. Okay. Up top is a gallery of thumbnails for the podcast that I have subscribed to within the app. I can tap on any one of those. It's going to take me through to the list of episodes for that particular podcast. I did notice that in some cases, episodes from different shows within a network all appeared in the same single list. Now, this isn't the case with Twitch shows, but Bigger Pockets, for example, has 3 different shows that they produce every week on their network, and they all ended up in a single episode list here, even though I only intended to subscribe to the main podcast. That is a little odd, and I don't know who's to blame for it, but hidden in the overflow menu here is actually a neat option to send this podcast to my home screen, and that creates a shortcut, which is a nice little extra. I can just tap it on the home screen and launch right into the podcast. Now, all of these episodes can be streamed by tapping play next to the episode on the list, or I can tap into the episode information and then choose to download it for later listening. While it's playing, I have access to the standard controls, complete with 30-second skip forward and 10-second skip backward buttons. There's also a playback speed option that personally I enjoy setting at 1.2 times the speed.
Yeah, I think I left a bit of the detail in there just to give you the full vision of what Google is trying to do with the podcast app. I didn't know this. I didn't know it was a shortcut into the Google search app. So I think that's the Google. So it looks like the Google search app could always, play podcasts and allow you to subscribe and stuff. It was because it was such a hidden feature. They had created an app just to deep link into it.
Right. So I tried this on iOS.
Yeah.
Obviously it didn't work.
Yeah.
So hang on. So I know he's saying that the podcast app is not really an app, but is the Google search app really an app as well?
Yeah, it's like a G. It's like a search app baked into Android.
The
So
OS, yeah.
yeah, I pulled up my Nexus 5 just so I could see how this show was doing, but also how the app worked. It's a very basic app. I think if you're used to all the other Google apps, if you're using a Nexus or a Pixel or a Motorola, something that has very clean skin, you'll kind of get used to it. The only annoyance that I've been reading about is you can't auto download something you subscribe to, which I do for our show. So yeah, pros and cons, right?
So you can subscribe from that experience.
Yeah, you can't subscribe. It's a bit of an odd one that they're trying to. I think what Google is really trying to do is help fix the discovery of new podcast problem. A lot of the apps, including Pocket Cast, and they try really hard to sort of showcase some podcasters, but there's very little they can do considering how many podcasts there are out there. And without a big player like Google applying some sort of machine learning, it's going to be hard to understand what I like to listen to and what's new and what I would like.
Yeah, I mean, podcasts are not quite like what we talked about just now, IGTV or YouTube, I don't think, in that like it's the most intimate sort of media or form of media, don't you think? Like, because I mean, the podcast that I like is the not so produced, not necessarily from the studio, but it just sounds like listening in on a conversation between two people, or even like friends, or you know what I mean. So in that sense, I don't think the discovery part. I mean, of course, you want to discover new things, but in terms of discovering like different episode that's related to an episode of another podcast that I'll just listen to, I don't know. Just that doesn't feel too straight with me there.
Yeah, I think we all have different how we like our podcast. So no, I do agree with you. I think I'm very much like yourself. I just like listening to conversations and things like that. But when you think about Serial and you think about all the other shorter podcasts, storytellers and stuff like that, once you're out of a series, you want some more, just like Netflix, right? So it just wants to help syndicate more and more podcasts to those people. So I've done a few things to our sort of website and our feed and all that to make sure we're appearing okay. It's not the easiest thing to do in the world. If you're a podcaster, a fellow podcaster, I've added a couple of links into our show notes so that you can follow the same sort of process that I've gone down. The only thing that I can't find right now is how you add the donate button. So all the podcasts will have a donate button on the right that you can add any amount. So they're trying to help podcasters, monetize a little bit, just to pay for things like hosting fees and all that. So that's kind of cool. It's built into the app.
Okay. That's not going through any third-party service like Patreon, right? It's just straight through Google, is it?
Yeah, I think it goes through either Google Wallet or something, but it's nothing as as third-party as Patreon and things like that. But yeah, I think it's a good app. I think Android needed it for a long time now. It will play alongside Pocket Casts and other big apps like that. So is it a big change? Not really. Will it do a good job in terms of bringing people on board? You know how when people ask us, show me your podcast, and we just go onto their phones and add the podcast. At least now we know what to do for Android users.
Good one. Yes. Watch out for all the subscribers coming in the next couple of weeks. All you Android users out there, go and subscribe and leave us a comment. 5 stars.
help
what does the rating
Android
system work?
friends.
How does the rating system?
Oh, good question. I have to look into it. I haven't looked into that one yet.
Okay. All right. I have a YouTube related clip.
Yeah.
Back to Google, back to YouTube. What is this about? Oh, okay. So if you are a creator, and if you're a creator that has at least 10,000 subscribers, you are eligible for this.
As creators, you've built amazing communities. They show their love by making you part of their wardrobes, walls, and homes. And now we're making it easier to sell merchandise right on your channel. We partnered with Teespring to help you design, promote, and ship merchandise. This is your chance to bring your community together while making money. From mugs to t-shirts to posters, you decide how to customize your merch. Don't worry about printing and shipping. We got it covered. So check it out. A new way to make money and bring your community together in real life awaits.
Yeah, so this is all part of the Google monetization process for creators, I guess.
What's the cut?
Oh, no, this is, I think it's a free service.
Nothing's free.
Oh, well, I'm not sure then. I'm not sure. Well, I mean, it's all through Google, and they're partnering with a t-shirt printing company called Teespring, which I've used in the past. But yeah, like I think you can print out mugs, so if you have I guess you're a podcaster even, and you have a YouTube channel that has a lot of subscribers, then you can do this.
Well, we've got 9,999 to go. 91. I think we've got 9 subscribers. Anyway, I think it's kind of cool, but not a game changer in any way, shape, or form. I mean, people are doing this through their own means, right?
Yeah, but the pattern is like just like the last story, like they're making it easier for creators to monetize, right? I think that's the theme for this whole episode. Yeah. Even under the merchandise option that the creators will see when they're in their own admin panel of the channel, they'll see monetization. They already have a monetization tab, but there'll be a new option called merchandise.
Is it US only?
Oh yeah, sorry, US based only. Yeah.
Boo.
For now.
Boo.
Yeah, but anyway, I've got another bit of a follow-up from the Google Duplex story. I don't know if you got a chance to watch this. I think I sent you the link to it earlier in the week. So Google Duplex at the keynote earlier in the year, they demoed a Google Assistant that calls a restaurant up to make a booking for you, right? And there was a bit of a backlash. They've kind of done a new video with a new version of this process. I'm just going to play it now. See what they've fixed up. See if you can pick it up.
El Cocotero, how may I help you?
Hi, I'm the Google Assistant calling to make a reservation for a client. This automated call will be recorded. Can I book a table for Tuesday the 12th?
Okay, cool. And how big is the party?
It's for 2 people.
Great. And when did you say they want to come in?
Tuesday at 7 p.m.
Okay, let me check. I don't have 7, but we can do 8.
Yeah, 8 p.m. is fine.
Did you pick it, Kelvin?
Yes, I'm a robot. Please don't hang up.
Yeah, and the call's being recorded as well. So yeah, that was a big backlash, and they're fixing the PR disaster that was Google Duplex in the last month or so. Also, they actually showed a real life situation, or simulated that real life situation where didn't play it, but at the beginning of the video, like a lady would get a text from her husband saying, "Hey, we've got a babysitter, so we can have a date night." And then she interacts with the Google Assistant. Can you make a booking for that restaurant? And then you heard the rest of it. So yeah, bit better than the other approach.
Why? I'm trying to think of the downsides and the upsides of having it recorded. As a Google user, I want it to be recorded so I can, if for some reason you yell at my robot and I want to hear that conversation, it's there. But of course, the downside is you have everything on me. So,
well, I mean, there's two reasons why it's being recorded, right? One's for educational, like to further the machine learning, what have you. Just like how you get warnings when you call a call center when they say this call may be recorded for training purposes and things like that. But the other thing is, like, in order for you to interact with a robot, it has to record you, right? So there's no other way to have that conversation without having it record.
Yeah. So are people up in arms because of the security and privacy concerns around having conversations recorded?
I think people are beyond that because, like I said, like calls are recorded all the time anyway.
Yeah.
But I think, they're saying this now where they didn't say it before, just to appease some of those. Like you have to be upfront. You have to be upfront when you're saying that you're the computer talking to, and putting all those artificial ums and ahs.
Yeah, I still find that strange. It's like You are a human. If I don't put this in, you won't get me. Ha ha.
It's probably worthwhile looking at the video because the actor that played the guy at the restaurant, he made these like facial expressions, like when they said, "Oh yeah, I'm a Google Assistant calling for a client," he had this like bit of a puzzled look, but then he just sort of got back into it straight away.
Yeah, because I don't think, it's actually there between that and starting the conversation, there wasn't a lot of time. So probably didn't give the human enough time to sort of think about it and go, wait a minute. You're a robot.
One of those darn robots.
Yeah.
I did watch Solo on the weekend, Kelvin, and there's a bit of a link to that sort of thing as well. You haven't seen it, have you?
No.
Oh, it's good.
Is it?
It's good, man.
Is it? Yeah. I know. It wasn't the turnout pretty bad?
Yeah, but that's just marketing, and
true.
Like you can't. The movie itself is like, I think it's probably better than Rogue One. Better than. Was there another one? Was there another? What was the other one?
Oh God, that one. The one where Kylo Ren fought with Rey.
No, outside of the.
Oh
yeah.
No, there's only Rogue One, right?
Just Rogue One. Okay, yeah. Definitely better than Rogue One. Yeah, I really liked it, but we might save that for another episode. Maybe. You got anything else?
I've got a very local story that I can end off with. But what else do you got?
Well, before we go local, then I've got something. IBM Project Debator.
What?
So did you know that IBM's, I guess it's Watson, that whole thing, now can debate a human?
Oh, God.
All right, here's Fox Business.
Just imagine this, a robot debating a human. That's what IBM's Project Debator is all about. And it made its debut in San Francisco yesterday afternoon. I'll roll that tape.
We think that it's not that the government money won't help out if it were to be given. We just think it doesn't meet the criteria in comparison to other things.
If I may put it a bit differently, subsidizing space exploration is like investing in really good tires. It may not be fun to spend the extra money, but ultimately both you and everyone else on the road will be better off.
Yes, obviously the second one was the robot.
Really? Yeah. I know. I think she has more personality than some people I know. You know what's really funny? Did we just roll a tape that rolled another tape?
Oh yeah, rollception.
I thought that was
happens.
Funny.
It happens. Yeah.
No. You know what? In hindsight, I can see why Google has added all of the human nuances, because that was horrible to listen to.
Right. Even when debating, you gotta and ah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, this was on Fox Business, which normally I wouldn't watch. And the guy, the anchor, he went on to interview some dude from IBM, and all his questions were like, "Oh, when can I debate myself and make decisions on the news stories I'm gonna talk about later in the day?" and stuff like that, which is ridiculous. But I think that there's actually real application to this, and just let me explain here. So what they're trying to do, what IBM's trying to do, is like demonstrate that a meaningful discussion can be had between a man and machine.
No, I can definitely see it. I think like every day when we go into work or life, we have to make decisions. So we unknowingly go through this this decision tree process. Mm-hmm. But if you had someone who was exponentially smarter than you, mm-hmm. and you could somehow give it parameters to work within, mm-hmm. it will help you find a better solution, right?
Well, maybe not so much smarter, but knowledgeable, right? So the advantage of this, the Project Debater AI, in this actual debate that was demonstrated last week, there was no, winner in the sense there was, team A or team B, but apparently the people that were surveyed, they said, well, the humans kind of debated better, like they made more logical sense, but the AI actually produced more information, and they were able to, just come up with examples like real life use cases and case studies, and they actually got to learn more from the AI than the humans.
Yeah, as long as the Wi-Fi is working, right?
Yeah, where's that 5G? Yeah, and I mean, IBM are saying things like, yes, we want to get the AI to help with the decision making, just like you said. What it's trying to do is like understand all those concepts that are really complex for machines to kind of like grasp it, by sort of having this conversational style and talking with a product owner. Option A is better than option B because blah blah blah. I think I'll be out of a job in 5 years for sure.
Oh, don't say that. You sound way better than a robot.
What about like the legal, application, right? Like, because that's what they do. They debate in court.
Okay, let's think about this, right? I mean, Watson costs like, $1 gazillion, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't put that in court because what if I can't afford $1 gazillion to build? You know what I mean? Like, it would come down to the whole, I have version 1, you have version 1.1. Boom, it's faster. It's got a Core i7 in it, whatever.
Yeah. Well, if you're talking about the actual hardware, like the actual physical box, that's hard to get. But they're going to put this service in the cloud.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know.
It's all software after that point.
I still feel like money is going to, still talk, and not everyone's going to have equal opportunity, because if a robot goes after another robot, the debate will never end, right?
Well, that's happened in the past. Yeah. I think this is just the beginning of this. Like, give it 5 years. Obviously, it's really expensive now. Watson runs on a $1 billion thing, probably. But just like everything else, over time, it all comes down. So, yes, they're going to put these services in the cloud. Just imagine it'll be like, kind of like talking to Siri, maybe. You wake up, hey, should I wear pants A versus pants B today? Tell me the reasons why I should wear pants A.
That's going to be a long morning, man.
For the female audience out there, I think you can... imagine that's going to happen. So that's that. Yeah.
So my next story is close to home, quite literally. My local council is the city of Sydney, and I thought it was quite interesting that they, had a story around how they're going to get enough electricity to power their new depot. So let's have you hear from Clover Moore, who is the mayor.
I'm Clover Moore, and I'm down here at our new Alexandria depot, where our staff carry out their work for the southern area of the city. We're waste or cleansing or our civil works. And what's very exciting, not only is it a beautiful sustainable building with 1,600 PV panels on the roof. Today I'm here with Paul Tariano, the CEO of Transgrid, and we're launching the new Tesla battery, which will power this building, but also could power 50 homes in the area, and also enable a backup for the grid on those peak days. So it's the first Tesla battery to be installed on a major site here in New South Wales. Victoria and the South Australian governments have done it there. And this is an example of an energy provider that can be rolled out right across the metropolitan area. So it's very exciting.
So Sydney finally has its own battery pack. It's able to store up to 500 kilowatt hours of energy. I like it how this article from techlead.com.au had to say this. It equals the same storage amount of 50,000 mobile phone batteries. It can power 50 homes for 24 hours straight.
So how is the recharge performance these days of Tesla batteries? Because doesn't it take more effort to recharge the battery than the power that you save from having a battery, something like that?
I think what this does is the batteries will always be charged, and they will only be used in sort of off-peak or high-peak scenarios. So it's not going to be used all the time.
Right.
They'll decide when to switch it on. So arguably they'll always be at 100% until you need them.
Okay, well that's a step in the right direction. You can imagine just Clover Moore being Clover Moore, like this going to be rolled out to a lot more places and use cases.
Yeah, so what they're saying is it can cut the power costs by reducing its grid consumption during peak hours and save around 600 tons in carbon dioxide emissions every year.
Mm-hmm. So for now, it's got to work with carbon emissions or carbon, energy. Yeah. Okay. Well, I had a whole big piece kind of saved, but I think I can wait for another episode.
Yeah, I think that deserves its own episode.
Right, yeah, I think it might do. I've got a bunch of clips for that. Yes, I think. Have you got anything else?
No, I'm clip dry. So yeah, if you want to check out all the other episodes, all 101 of them, don't forget to go to the website, thelazycouch.com, where you can now subscribe via your Android device, which is pretty cool. You can also find us on Twitter at the Lazy Couch Podcast. You can also hit us up on Gmail, thelazycouchpodcast@gmail.com. And tune in next time. My name is Kelvin Lee. Kelvin.
Geoff out.
Kathleen Kenyon's excavation of this city mentioned in Joshua showed the walls had been repaired 17 times. Watson.
What is Jericho?
Correct.
400 same category.
This mystery author and her archaeologist hubby dug in hopes of finding the lost Syrian city of Urkesh. Watson.
Who is Agatha Christie?
Correct.
Same category, 600.
At the Olduvai Gorge in 1959, she and hubby Lewis found a 1.75 million year old Australopithecus Boise-eyed skull. Watson.
Who is Mary Leakey?
You're right.
800 same category.
Harriet Boyd Hawes was the first woman to discover and excavate a Minoan settlement on this island. Watson.
What is Crete?
Yes.
Let's finish Chicks Dig Me.